Welcome, my darling pretties, to our Beyond the Dawn of Business podcast for pretty, empowered female entrepreneurs. It's time to step into your power, pretties. Lift each other, support the squad, and choose a life filled with the autonomy and freedom to live your dreams. I'm your host, Dawn Beth, owner and founder of Beyond the Dawn digital business brand and agency. My coffee is hot and my eyelashes are on, so we are ready to go. Hi pretties, welcome to today's episode. Today I really want to chat to you about a funny experience that I had a couple of years ago. It's something that I refer back to quite regularly, and it's one of those great learning moments in life where I didn't realise I was learning anything in the moment, and then it was only on backward reflection and hindsight that I actually recognised this fantastic learning that happened. So for those of you who know me pretty well by now, listen to these regularly, are in my free group or on my email lists, you will know that one of the things that we offer is retreats, which is wonderful. And on these retreats, we do lots of fantastic things. We do content shoots, we do masterminding, we do strategy, we do business systems. Sometimes we even do tech retreats where it's like we all turn up with our computers and build sales pages and funnels and fantastic things like that and get a lot of stuff done in a very short period of time for quick advancement. And it's great. And we love it. And it's very, very tiring, but very, very wonderful and very, very enriching, not just for businesses, but usually for all of us involved. And a few years ago now, I created a retreat that was essentially for my pro members. It was for my membership people. I wanted to give them the opportunity to spend some time together because we'd been in this wonderful community, but also to give ourselves the opportunity to move our businesses along in a more connected way. And it was really, really exciting. And we booked this fantastic luxury home in a really, really lovely area. We booked a fantastic spa treatment day with just some of the sweetest, kindest beauticians. I actually know from my local area, they travelled up to us rather than picking somebody from around there, which was so good. It was so nice. And we had this amazing week. And one of the things that I really stand by when I create retreats, whether it's for consultation basis, whether it's for speaking or actually action taking, strategizing, whatever, is that sometimes as female entrepreneurs, my clients really require a different environment. And that different environment means that we take away the things day to day that distract, derail, deflate, lots of D words, your business possibilities, your energy, and your opportunity to really get the most out of your time. So one of the things that I really didn't want anyone to have to worry about was food or cooking or any of these things. So my amazing, amazing assistant at the time, Stephanie, helped me to book different personal chefs on the different evenings, different menus every single evening. We had a gorgeous cooked for us, chef standard 3-course meal for the 3 evenings that we were there. Fantastic pizza night on the first evening, which was quite easy because it was just a takeaway, but very, very tasty. And we were very excited about it. And we'd had a fantastic time for the first couple of days. We had a really, really emotional and quite deep connecting couple of days together when we had one of the chefs arrive. Now, I lovingly call this particular chef Smashy Mgee or Smashy McSmashface, which normally makes people laugh. And we'd booked a different chef, and that chef didn't arrive. And the lady that did arrive turned up very, very stressed, very huffy, And we were just a little bit shocked. We had a very emotional day. Everybody was a little bit depleted. It was wonderful. We dug really deep and we'd done some fantastic work, but we were tired. And, there'd been a lot of emotional conversations. We talked about lots of personal things. We'd unlocked and released a lot of stuff in each other's company, and it was beautiful. It was sacred. But we were tired and there was a lot going on. So Smashy McSmashson or Smashy Mgee, whatever you want to call this lovely lady, she came in and she was stressed and she was not pleased to be there. The first thing that I remember when we opened the door to her was we immediately felt that we were a massive inconvenience. She was absolutely annoyed to the hilt that she was having to work, and she was not happy with us from the moment she arrived. And the way that I describe it is that she walked into the building and the energy in every room just changed. It was like somebody had clicked a button and sucked all the oxygen and energy, positive energy, out of the space. And there was a couple of things that she did when she entered. She was a cloud of passive-aggressive vibration. She whizzed around everybody like a gale force wind. She was shouting loudly over us while we spoke in conversation. She never addressed any of us individually, but just hollered out into the crowd very randomly. She alerted us and cut through our conversation and often shocked us and scared us. And she assumed regularly that we didn't like the meals, even though we were positively commenting on the meal and how nice it was. She also expressed her annoyance loudly at every opportunity by clinking, smashing, throwing, and just huffing and puffing the entire time. I looked around the room at one point and I could see that every single person at the dining table was sat on a knife's edge. Our nerves were severed and we just jumped like we were watching a bad horror movie over and over. The suspense between each fright has us on the edge of our seats. None of us could relax. None of us could truly kind of enjoy the meal. And at one point she dropped some cutlery down the back of our chair and she rushed around us as though the world was ending. And the atmosphere in the room was just really, really fraught. And then she swore incredibly loudly. And it was just absolutely crazy the way that the whole thing played out. Now, from my point of view, I felt a great protection for the people who were in that room at that time. I'd brought them there. I'd opened up the situation we were in. Me and Stephanie had hired this company, although this lady was not the person that we'd hired. We'd hired this company. And we felt really protective of the fact that actually this should have been, at the end of that day in particular, a really beautiful, calming, lovely experience for the women that were there. And instead, unfortunately, it turned into an absolute nightmare. So throughout this time, we took some cues to potentially try to support this lady emotionally, to help out, to let her know that we were good clients, we were nice people, she didn't need to be stressed, it was okay. Unfortunately, it wasn't possible. This lady had a situation going on for her that the professional veil did not allow her to fully disclose to us, but we assumed somebody rang in sick and she had to step in last minute. And she spent a lot of the time on her phone, chatting to people, texting people, and just generally being unprofessional rather than allowing us the opportunity to salvage the environment or the energy. Now, I appreciate as I'm telling this story, we've made a bit of a caricature out of this lady, and it isn't actually about this specific individual at all. What I want to highlight here is how we can affect the energy of the people around us, the environment of the people around us, with what we choose to do and how we choose to behave. Demeanor is absolutely everything. It doesn't matter what you've got on. If you can't show up in the right energy, then the game is already lost. From a client perspective, although we were empathetic customers, although we were probably very, very entertaining of the situation that she was in. I expect that we were far more understanding than others would have been. It really was not an ideal situation. And even with our level of acceptance and understanding, we did not have a good customer experience. And it reminds me that customer facing situations, which is what all of us face when we go into business, is a real life skill. And to some degree, it can't always be taught. Okay? It's the foundation upon which corporate institutions rise. It's the people who are in the stores. It's the people who are at customer services. It's the people who are at the other end of the emails. It's the people that are in your Facebook groups responding to your clients. It's something that needs to be instilled, that the demeanor and the energy is something sacred, something that needs to be protected, and definitely something that needs to be focused on. Now, know, like, and trust is really important, but you're certainly not going to get to know, like, and trust if your fraught energy is coming across whenever you make yourself visible. Turning up in the right energy is absolutely key. We're here to serve and to value your people. Boundaries are totally great and massive social skills, but professional conducts need to be invited to the party. So I want you to think about how you speak to people. I want you to think about how you respond to people, especially in situations where you perhaps disagree with them, because this is where it gets really tricky. When you're finding ways to regulate rather than respond, when you're offering up a different perspective in a respectful way rather than trying to argue or create conflict. And I have some questions for you to consider that will help you with this. Because the answer is really easy. You just have to be you, but you have to care about the person on the other side, okay? Which sounds really simple. It sounds like basic empathy and a little bit of thoughtfulness. But it is something that we overlook, because sometimes those things that are incredibly simple are the things that we skip on over in our pursuit for greatness, yeah? So what will this be like for them if I behave in this certain way? How can I enhance their experience positively? If the lady had asked herself this question, how can I enhance their experience positively? Perhaps she could have made a joke out of it. Perhaps she could have introduced some comedy. Perhaps she could have acknowledged the elephant in the room, which was her bad mood and behaviour. Perhaps she could have said, ladies, I'm having the worst day today. Somebody rang in sick. I've had to come in reactively. You all seem like lovely clients. Forgive me. But I've just dropped some cutlery down your back and I can't believe I've done it. But isn't that just the way when we have days like this? It would have cracked open the atmosphere. It would have given us an opportunity to support her in an emotional way. And the room of people she was in, we've all been there. There's not one lady sat around that dining room table that hadn't been in that energy and that stress and that worry and that fraught situation before. Most of us had come away from children and partners and at least one business, for some of us more, just to be at that dining table. So we had experienced that, and that human to human common connection was missed. There was no professional veil in support of it not being obvious, so we might as well take the veil off completely, right? And be honest. How do I behave in good situations? And do I behave the same way in difficult situations? You don't have to be a carbon copy, but are you still embodying your values even in those difficult situational moments? How can I communicate effectively? And how can I ensure that I'm giving the best version of myself and giving everybody around me the opportunity to see the positive side of this rather than dragging down the energy in a negative? Because simply, if you don't have the right energy and you can't answer those questions and you're not sure how to do that, the answer is not to show up. The answer is not to bring that to your people, because you will do more damage than good, okay? Old school customer service is something that everybody should be aware of. It's not necessarily the right way to do it. We have far more autonomy in business now. We can walk away from clients that aren't an ideal fit, and that's totally fine. We don't have to turn around and say the customer's always right. However, The customer might not be always right, but the customer deserves common decency and respect even when we believe they're incorrect. The customer still deserves fairness. They still deserve respect. They still deserve an answer. Okay? There are things that we can and can't do that's slightly different, but you'll never be angry at yourself for paying the price of kindness, good conduct, and professionalism. When you're showing up and you're turning up to somewhere and you've got that energy, consider that. There are times when I have tried to record videos or podcasts and I just can't do it because I know that you'll be able to hear it in my voice, that the energy isn't right, that I'm not going to be motivational, I'm not going to be supporting you, I'm not going to be showing up for you in the best possible way. And those are the weeks where I have to wait for me to regulate. I have to wait for my life, my personal life or my business life to come back into balance. And I might do lots of different things to get myself back into the right energy. But one of the things that I do straight away is self-compassion. If I can't show up in the right energy today, that's okay. I will do it when I can. I'll do more of it when I can. And I will honour these feelings. But what I will not do is bring this to my pretties. Because when you get me, you get my best. And that is a commitment that I have to myself and my business, but more essentially a commitment that I have to you. I hope this episode has given you food for thought, and I hope that you will enjoy discussing it further in the free group. Have a wonderful day, pretties. If you're loving our Pretty podcast, come on over to Social Pretties, our online safe house and sisterhood community. It's a safe space where female entrepreneurs connect and thrive in a warm, welcoming fold of pretty amazing women. You'll find an easy redirect in the description, and I can't wait to see you in there. And depending on where you're listening right now, we would love it if you would click subscribe or follow so that you can be the first to know when our new podcasts come out.